Alright, so let me lower the room just a touch, a little louder than I was expecting. Cool, alrighty, so can everyone hear me? I hope so, otherwise I've absolutely messed up my audio settings. Audio is quiet? Then I will talk louder. Alright, so, hi there. Welcome to Kind of Reprobation. Hey, get to listen to me twice when I explain things. Yeah! Alright. I'll drop the volume of the music down just a little so it's easier to hear me. I'm not good at streaming, I'll be honest. But, that's not why I'm here today. Today I'm here to explain how to include D&D into your... Final Fantasy into your D&D campaigns. Not the other way around. That's a different idea. Let's do some quick introductions. Hi, I'm Asriel. I'm also Aro, or Arosi. You might know me. I was in the Esprit show, as, leader of it. But, hey, I wear multiple hats. Not in-game because I play Hrothgar, but I do wear multiple hats. I love D&D. I'm all about immersive experiences. I'm all about merging about different aspects from different things into roleplay experiences. And this is just one of those kind of pathways that I go with. Yeah, rip Hrothgar. I'm in a ton of campaigns now, and honestly, think about starting even more. I love not having free time. I just love working on D&D stuff constantly. Quick history. I've been playing 14 since about the end of Stormblood, so I'm not new, but I'm not like old to the game. But I have been playing Dungeons & Dragons for about 5 years, so hey, I like to combine things a bit. I do more DMing than I do playing normally. I love both, but I'm normally found in a position of DMing more. So this is all coming from the angle of a DM, but can easily be merged into a mindset of a player, especially with some of the other ideas that I'll be introducing. Now, before we begin, I am aware that there is a supplement that adds Final Fantasy XIV jobs and races into D&D. This is not a panel covering that. I didn't want to, step on their toes, claim any of their stuff as my own, stuff like that. Instead, this is all new stuff, or stuff that wasn't included into that supplement. I highly suggest checking it out. Just type it in into Google. It's probably going to be the first thing you see. Instead, we'll be going over a few things, four things specifically. Some magic items that you can just steal and put them into your games. Super simple. I have a list. I'll post on Twitter. That way you guys can click on it, because I don't think I can post links into this chat for that, unless there's a moderator here listening that might help me out with that. Second, Materia, a brand new system talking for how to enhance your weapons in new exciting ways. Relic weapons, which is a special magic item that will grow alongside the player. And then we have battle mechanics, because the amount of times that you see a mechanic in Final Fantasy XIV and be like, yeah, you could probably translate that into D&D, is shockingly high. And I'll go over some of the better examples of that. Some of it can't, I don't know how you do an active time maneuver in D&D, just slam your fist on the desk a bunch maybe, but not any of that. But okay, let's go over some of the magic items. So all of the magic items that I'm going to present to you are magic items that you can add to your game with little risk as a DM, Most of these are slightly reskinned or repurposed from magic items that already exist in D&D supplements. There will be a few that aren't on this list that I will just be going over, that are on my handy dandy cheat sheet that I'll post later. But that there also are a few that I'll add, and I'll preface with these aren't tested or anything like that. But we'll get that road when we get there. All right. So first up then. So some interesting reskins that we can easily pull up is the Link Shell. So in Dungeons & Dragons, let me pull up my handy dandy little cheat sheet real quick. Beans, I put it on the wrong setting. Give me just a sec. Alright. Okay, so Link Shells actually have a very close 1-to-1 already in Dungeons & Dragons supplements. If you look in the Dungeons Master Guide, there actually is a thing called the Sending Stones, which, yeah, that's pretty on the nose for exactly what the thing can be. Oh, wrong slide, sorry. These stones, everyone knows what a link shell is, but from D&D aspect, you touch it, and then you just cast an action, and you'll be able to do the sending spell to each other. And then you can make a whole network of link shells or sending stones. This is a fairly useful item to give pretty early on to a player group. There's no real risk to this, because you have to speak. You'll have to be like, hey, these are things that people have to talk through, so you can't be like, I speak through my mind, and the enemy around me can't hear me because I'm using my link shell. Actually, no. These are talking ones. There is a version of it that you can, like, converse thoughts, but we're just talking. Let's see, we're here. Oh, yes, we just started. I'm just going over a few of reskin magic items that you can just throw into your games with little to no risk. Alright. Up next, we have the Chocobo Saddlebag. It's a little play on words for the aspect of how the Chocobo Saddlebag kind of works in game, where it's like, it's not bottomless. God, I wish it was bottomless. But it is a bag of holding, basically. So that is, but it just has, the Chocobo theming, how it works in game, where it's just like a pocket dimension that you can just hold additionally large items. Everyone knows what the bag of holding is. I don't have to explain that, really. It's just a big bag. But yeah. Moving on to the more unique style ones. We have the Morble's Bulb. Now, this one is a rare item. It's classified as an uncommon item. This is a reskin of the Necklace of Adaptation. This one is interesting where when you wear it, gas and vapors don't affect you nearly as badly as they would without the necklace, which is interesting because everyone knows Morbles use bad breath, so I thought it would be a pretty interesting merger of using the bulb to block or reduce the amount of effects from, bad breath effects in D&D. This is stuff like Cloud Kill, which is a really lethal spell, especially at high levels. It's a great AoE to kill things. You have effects like Stinking Cloud, kind of like a fog, where you can just walk in the fog without needing anything. Also, there are some poisons that can be used as a vapor that the Morble Bone would be useful, and some Dragonborn and dragons have breath weapons that are like poison that this would also affect, which is pretty useful. Although poison can be kind of known as the weakest damage type in Dungeons and Dragons, but that's not what we're here for. That's a different thing entirely. All right, moving on to one of the more interesting style ones. We have the very rare bracer called the Esteem. Obviously, this is a play on the Dark Knight's Esteem, where it will summon a second version, or excuse me, not a second version of you. I mean, we all know who it is. I'm not going to say it is, just in case. I don't want to touch spoilers if you don't know who that is. But, you know, a friend joins you in the fray, smiley face. This mimics that effect where you're allowed to cast a cantrip and then use a bonus action to cast another cantrip. I would like to think of it like the ranged attack that Dark Knights do. Obviously no, because if you have different cantrips, they'll be different. This is a reskin of the Illusionist's Bracers, which can be found in the Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica, where it summons like a duplicate version of yourself to do the spell. But for 14 aspects, then, oh boy, a friend? Yeah, definitely a friend, Smile. But yeah. Okay, some more, a few more. So we have the Garuda's Feather. This is a common item. If you're familiar with the Feather token, it's pretty one-to-one. I made it green. So when you fall, this feather basically activates, and you won't take fall damage, basically. Which is a lot like Garuda's, I would call it more like the Slipstream effect from Blue Mage, where it's a bunch of feathers that will drop down, where you're safe, but you're falling very quickly. Sorban's Gift. If anyone doesn't immediately know who that is, how do I say this without saying spoilers? They're a ally that you will get in the Ruby Sea that gives you a very powerful gift that allows you to see the other side of the map. I think that's vague enough that if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. But not if you haven't gotten to Stormblood. And this gift that he gives you is a very useful tool, especially if you like exploration or fishing. Okay, but the actual effect of the item, this is actually more like a bubble that will go around your head. Think like, you know in SpongeBob, you have Sandy's like glass dome around her head that allows her to breathe? Kinda like that. You have about an hour with the bubble on, but all of the air will refill in the bubble at dawn, so you get every day you get 1 hour of breathable time underwater. This is a reskin from the breathing bubble in the Explorer's Guide to Wildmount, and this is a common item. This is a very useful item if your D&D campaign takes place is a pirate campaign, or on the high seas for some reason, or you just have like one guy that doesn't have any other options for dealing with things underwater, so you give him this. Yeah. Alright, moving on to our next item, we have the Ring of Surecast. So, Surecast in game, you know, it prevents you from getting messed up or knocked back from items and stuff like that. Or knocked back from attacks and stuff, for most attacks, that is. 5e doesn't actually have a lot of draw-in and knockback effects. It has a few, but not nearly as much as like 14 uses them. So I reused this item for a difficult terrain, which is terrain that cuts your movement speed in half. Won't affect you, so you'll be able to walk through like deep vegetation, sludge, stuff like that, without getting slowed down. In addition, magic can't slow you down or reduce you to paralyzed or restrained. This is basing off of the effect from the Surecast, where your spells can't be interrupted while you have Surecast on in-game. So this is just mimicking that kind of effect. I have some more. Some others that I really liked was the wind-up minion item. I don't have this on the slide. I do have it on my list. Once again, I will post that on my Twitter. I will drop the link to my Twitter at the end of the show. So you gotta keep watching if you want this list. But the wind-up minion, you can replace with the minion with whatever it is in D&D itself, it has a lot of like robot automatrons. They're like little toys, basically. Of course, there is like the Warforge and stuff like that. That's not what this is. This is just like a small toy doll that will repeat 6 words back to you if you tell it a condition. I'd like to imagine this as like the idle animations that minions do with each other, or just solo by themselves sometimes, where it will just do things. And this is a reskin of the talking doll from Xanthar's Guide to Everything. Another one that I want to call out as a neat item is the axe called the Bloodbath. It doesn't have to be an axe. If you want to reskin it as another weapon, you can. I just have it as an axe for this example. When you attack a creature with this magic item and you roll a nat 20, that enemy takes 10 additional necrotic damage, and you gain 10 temporary HP. So it's just a little extra reward for hitting things, and mimics the effect of Bloodbath pretty well as you're receiving more health. It's temporary HP, but in combat, temporary HP and regular HP are pretty interchangeable until after combat. Okay. Once again, I have additional ones, like the Midgard Storm's Blessing and Nidhogg's Wrath magical items, where they are ranging up to about legendary items, which grow in strength over time, if you want to do that. But one more magical item, I wouldn't call it a magical item per se, but more of a combat enhancer, which will be Materia. For those new or unfamiliar with, is it still on the Garuda one? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, okay. You might have to... Okay, sorry. Alright, so Materia. Alright, so, for anyone that doesn't know what Materia is, you're probably new to the game, or you haven't done a lot of raiding. Those weren't on the slide. Those items are on the sheet only. That way you can access the sheet later and get about 20 cool reskinned items to add into your D&D games. But, Materia, new players, hey, so, these are magically enhancing little boosts that you can meld onto your weapons and gear that will increase your damage slightly. Not anything super major, but sometimes getting that 1% extra damage is what you need to clear like a raid fight or something. D&D doesn't have percentage increases and large scale raids up to like it doesn't have the large scaleness of a fight that 14 has normally. Obviously if it's a big bat or something, yeah, but under normal circumstances, not really. So what materia does in 14, or in D&D. Think of this as a condensed aether that someone has basically polished into a gem. Normally, materia is depicted as like a circular crystal in most Final Fantasy games, including 14 itself. So think of it like that, like a jewel that you can slot in. These items are classified then as a rare item, so if you are a DM, don't hand these out like candy. You will want to trickle the amount of times materia can be given to your players. Now, the way that I have materia designed in D&D in this case is it is an item that upon usage, the aether basically melts out of the weapon. So after you activate the effect of the specific materia, then hey, then the aether basically gets dried out. Sounds like material that'd be acting like feats? Exactly. Yes. Perfect. Someone already understands the juices that I'm flowing. I'll talk more about that in just a second. Just treat them like, what is that, Lowing stones? Those are already items of Pathfinder designed to interact with those. Perfect. If you already have a history of Pathfinder, you probably already know what materia is. In that case, hey, congratulations. So you can't retrieve them in-game. Not in this case. I don't have a system for extracting materia from weapons, and I must specify only weapons. So I don't have it attached to gear. I haven't had a chance to playtest this material nearly as much as all the other kinds of stuff. So DMs use this sparingly and see if it flows well into your stuff. Now, relic weapons. If you really want to take it a step further, if you've ever had a full relic weapon, you might notice that it's pretty easy to pentameld a relic weapon. They automatically come with the 5 slots built into them. You can kind of see where this is going. You'll slot in those 5, you can slot in 5 materia into your relic weapon. DMs obviously can tone that down or bump that up if they want, but from the Final Fantasy XIV standard is the 5 on a completed relic. So let's talk about the types of materia that you might be interested in adding. I only have 4 types of materia, but each type has 2 different subtypes built into it. So for my large combat ones, you have the Heaven's Eye and the Savage Aim. Heaven's Eye, you can add your proficiency bonus to your attack roll again before hit. You can, if let's say you really want to make sure you hit someone, you can burn a Heaven's Eye materia and add your proficiency bonus once more to make sure it hits. All panels should be VODs, I think immediately after I hit end stream. I'm not 100% sure. There will be a VOD. Alright, up next, the Savage Aim materia. Now, let's say you want to go absolutely guttural. You can go and have your crit, if you get a crit, do full damage. Just, let's say you do a 2d6 on, I think that's what, a greatsword? A 2d6. No, that's not a greatsword. Whatever. Your weapon does 2d6. Perfect. You would automatically do 12 damage from that crit roll. And depending if your DM is a double damage or a roll twice kind of thing, won't matter, it's the same thing. So that'd be 24 across the board. This is a great way to guarantee you get a meaty hit on whatever you're trying to kill. Okay. Up next, we have the Guile and the Grasp. I didn't want materia to just be combat focused only, so we'll have the perception check or the investigation check advantages. Sometimes it's critical that you are paying attention to a area or trying to really find like a trap in a building. You can burn the aether from like a grasp materia to make sure that you can see exactly what's in the room. Those are pretty self-explanatory. Advantages is always nice. Okay. Oh, beans. I forgot to add the piety one. I'm so sorry, everyone. I will just spit it out and then fix it real quick after stream when I give everyone the link to everything. Okay, so the quick arm materia and the quick tongue materia, these two are materias that are in-game typically used to increase your spell speed and your skill speed, which, you know, speeds up your GCD. In D&D, one might count an attack and a bonus action as your GCD. Now, there's no way to be like, yes, I would like to increase my GCD in D&D to 2.2, please. No, but instead, we have this. A quick arm materia and a quick tongue materia allows you to perform actions that are classified as a bonus action, again, after you do an action. So basically, that gives you two, for quick arm, that gives you 2 bonus actions, or for quick tongue, that allows you to cast 2 spells in 1 turn. Typically in D&D, you're not allowed to cast 2 spells in 1 turn. But with a quick tongue materia, you can. Technically, I know Sorcerer has that stuff, and this will stack with the Sorcerer stuff. But, yeah, under the normal circumstances for a regular caster, this is basically the only way that you'll be able to do both. These are rare items, of course. I'm curious if there's a limit to how many you can have on a weapon. Yes! We'll get to relic weapons in just a second, but the cap will be 5 at a completely maxed out relic weapon. Relic weapons will come in stages. Smite can stack on so much dice to be bigger than rogues potentially. Absolutely. Who doesn't love a big meaty hit and watching your DM sigh as they have to add more health to your boss? Everyone loves to see it. Low iode stones, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, are old school. The DMs have issues, not me, I'm the DM. Hey, is it not the job of the DM to make sure everyone's having fun? I think seeing big number go up is fun. Not fun effects and the worries. There's 115 different iode stones. Holy crap! Sounds like someone has a larger materia idea than I do. Feral. Alright, for our final stuff, we have the piety and the battle dance materia. I know that says the wrong thing. I forgot to change it. My bean. It will be a free action, yes. Sorry. Completely free action to burn it, and then you can burn as many that you have equipped and attuned to your weapon. So if you want to just go crazy 1 turn and burn all 5 of them, absolutely. Would I recommend it? Probably not. These are rare items, so I wouldn't want to burn it unless it's like the big bad. But if you have that option and you want to do it, you could maybe do that. Okay, the battle dance. On a hit, you'll receive half as many temporary health points that you did in damage back for about 10 minutes. So if you did 20 damage to someone, congratulations, you have 10 temporary HP health back. This is to mimic tenacity, the effect in 14 where, you know, tanks, when they're doing their combo, can get back more health and stuff. This kind of mimics that effect. This is a great thing to maybe combine with the Savage Aim materia. So like you could make sure you get a ton of temporary HP pool. Okay, the piety, I'm sorry, I'll fix it. This one is if you get a crit on something with a spell, like a spell attack, you receive one spell slot that is half the amount of the spell slot back, rounded down. That was a lie. What that actually means is I cast a 4th level spell, a crit, then I would receive a 2nd level spell back. Or a 5th level spell, a crit, I would receive, rounded down, a 2nd level spell. Okay, that's been materia, but let's talk about the weapon that can use this materia, which is your relic weapon. Alright, so a relic weapon. These in 14 are typically the best item that you can get in an expansion. Per that expansion. So in that expansion, it will be the best weapon that you can use. Outside of that expansion, congratulations, your weapon is all pretty and shiny and it's so nice. What if you want to grind 180 crystals? Hey, but you can go right ahead. I went feral after like doing Maelstrom so much, it was a nightmare. Yeah, I was using your stage. I'm sorry. Okay. That 60-60 step absolutely killed me. At least the step in Moja where you actually were doing Fates was like at least a little bit dynamic. Oh lord, dude, the same fight so many times, I was drooling outside my mouth. Anyway, let's move on to what defines a relic. These are normally grindy, long, arduous, but you put in a lot of work and they slowly get better and better. In D&D, that's perfect. Because you know who else does that? Yourself! Or at least the player character does. Your player character does. I'm just hosting it stream only, I'm sorry. Everyone else had like cool in-game stuff, but like my hands were tied. I had so many other things that I had to do, so I couldn't get us space together to host it in-game. But hey, it's just you, me, and the disembodied voice of myself telling you about weird D&D stuff. Anyhow, so your player character, and your weapon hold hands together. They both will grow together. What does that mean? What does it mean, grow? For your weapon, that's growing new feats onto your weapon. That's growing a slightly larger hit dice on your weapon. That's being able to grow more materia slots onto your weapon. Or for like weird hybrid classes, like the bard class that's also like a melee. I forget which one that is. I think it's the sword. Anyway, 3.5. Exactly. It is like the Weapon of Legacy, where it's a developing one. Because let's be real, most D&D campaigns, everyone's using like 1 or 2 weapons. College of Swords, thank you. You're probably not going to swap all that much between weapons. Like it's either like, yes, I have my main weapon, and then I have like my backup weapon just to be stuff. Would a black/white mage hybrid technically be a FF1 red wizard? Huh. Kinda, yeah. Yeah, I would say so. Now, what's cool about this is the steps that we'll have to do to develop our relic weapon. Alright, so, from a DM standpoint, bestow upon your player a relic weapon. These weapons can be tied to their, like, the character's past. Like, let's say it's a blade that they've passed around their family for the longest time, and no one's been able to crack the energy within the sword except you can with time. Or maybe it's like a rare item that they find after they infiltrated like a dragon's horde or something, and it's a weapon of like crazy potential, but they have to form it with their own soul basically to get it to grow. These are interesting ways to introduce relic weapons. I don't think everyone starts a campaign with a relic weapon. These should be special items that you give to the player after a special event. Now, in Final Fantasy XIV, hey, it takes a little bit to, grind up each step to relic weapon, and in D&D, it's not all that different. In regular D&D, upgrading an item costs, some gold and maybe some materials, and oh, yay, I gotta find someone to make it a +1. Got it. For a relic weapon, let's take it a step further. Now, because they're used as aether conduits for the materia, you probably need some rare material to get that thing. At low levels, or at simpler times, this could just be a gold sink for the DM, who accidentally gave their players like a little too much gold. Or, hey, this could be an opportunity for an interesting quest to go into a den of some course, or like a cavern system to try to retrieve some material that they need. Also, you could lock it behind the main campaign. You don't want to give like a level 5 a fully upgraded relic weapon. That'd be kind of ridiculous. Instead, maybe push moving the story along to a certain story beat. Then you can introduce another mechanic. For the final things to stop is the blacksmith. Under certain circumstances, you could just be like Pokemon and the weapon evolves in your hand, or you have to find your own Gerald. No, not Gerald of Rivera. No, the Gerald that's like constantly drunk and constantly does our relic weapons and is in Ravania's back pocket? Rowena's, that's it, that's her name. You have to find a very talented craftsman for this kind of stuff. These are all interesting ways to spice up giving the weapon a little bit of more investment to the player, as most of the time, whenever we're using weapons, they're kind of throwaways, or they're not as special as they could be, basically. Okay. Up next. Battle mechanics. If you break down a fight, or if you looked at any time, like a timeline to a fight, or any raid guide, or anything like that, they always have slightly similar fight styles and stuff moving together, and like there's lots of moving parts to each fight and stuff. In D&D, we can add those. So, up first, the stack-up marker. This is, now, in-game, in D&D, there is no big arrow above your head pointing to everyone. Hey, come here, please come here, stack up with me. No, there isn't. You'll have to describe the effect of once people get closer to them, they can feel like a weird heaviness over them kind of break apart, and everyone will be able to split it. Everyone should know what a stack-up marker is, but if you don't, in-game, that means everyone piles up together and takes the hit together. Less people in the pile, the more damage the person that is targeted is going to take. In D&D, you could just have them all stand next to each other or stand within 5 feet of each other, and then it will split the damage between everyone. Pretty simple. Up next, gaze markers. Don't look at the eye. If the player in 14 looks at an eye, they either take like a damage down, a vuln up, or like they get petrified or something like that. Hey, throw that into D&D. When you look at someone, like their head, like the player's head will start to burn, and like they're like uncomfortable looking at that way, and when they break eye contact like that. So at the end of the turn, after that effect, if they're still looking at them, they'll get that effect. Up next, the classic shrinking the arena down. Make the tension a little bit tighter by making the arena a little bit smaller. Everyone knows Titan. Titan normal, where, you know, the arena shrinks down each time you break Titan down to a certain HP pool. Do that. It allows for harder maneuverability, like let's say the boss hits half the side of the room. Well, if only half the side of the room, but the arena is even smaller now, the players have less to work with and not accidentally get into each other's way as they try to move to other things. Up next, one of my favorite mechanics in game because it's just so funny, the icy floor. I love this mechanic so much. The first turn, the room could get cold, and the floor starts to like get a little bit harder to walk around on. Not enough to affect movement speed, but the next turn, flash freeze. The entire floor turns to the ice. If the player moves any at all, they are set on a straight path, and they have to keep going until they hit something. In 14, you're not a certain distance per se. Like I think it's like 10 yalms in a direction. In D&D, just keep going until you hit a wall. Or hit something else, like you bump into the boss or something like that. Pinball, perfectly. This will be a super fun one. Exaflares, another one of my favorite mechanics in the game. These are large AoEs that crawl across the ground and pulse as they go across. In D&D, it's kind of hard to show a mechanic like that because you can't throw a giant arrow on an AoE that's coming. But instead, you show the player on one turn, you see an explosion happen slightly off of the playable field as they slowly like crawl in. It's out of the playable area, so the players aren't having to react immediately, but they slowly crawl into the arena, and that's how you can show how an exaflare works without absolutely destroying them. If you want to go extra spicy, 2 different types of colored explosions have different speeds. So, if you've done a Goliath, and you know, how do I not spoil this? The first fight, there's the blue exaflare and the yellow exaflare, and one's a lot faster than the other. Spice that up, throw that in there. Like if your players are getting a little comfortable with how exaflares normally work, throw in some new exaflares, throw in some timings and stuff like that. Now, let's talk about some other ones I don't have listed but could be thrown into it, like the tidal wave mechanic. Everyone remembers Leviathan, right? Will there be a campaign done, or this presentation explaining how to do a campaign? I'm either interested either way. Good news! That's my next slide. I'm not going to say it yet. Titan baited plumes. I mean, that's another knockback, yes. But that one's kind of hard to show. In D&D, not impossible. You could have it that the ground starts to shake and pulse that direction that the player is standing on, and if they don't move, they have to get knocked back. But it's kind of... you'll have to do some creative liberties to really get them across the point that you're trying to do. Make sure to always give your players enough reaction time to move at least in 1 or 2 turns to get out of the way. Let's talk about the tidal wave mechanic. Oh, I'm dumb. Sorry. Yes. Let me go over some more mechanics, and then I might be able to hit the one that you're thinking of. Knockback, tidal wave. Everyone remembers Leviathan, correct? And where Leviathan knocks down on one side and it pushes you across the arena like that. Imagine that, but a wave. a big wave of water pushes them, or a big wave of wind, or just regular generic magical force. This could be an interesting way to displace your players around and stuff like that. Now, with this, imagine combining this knockback effect, but with the icy floor effect. So the players need to pre-place for the wind effect while the icy floor effect is going, so they get knocked back into a safe zone. Or they get knocked back into a sharp rock and they take damage. An interesting way to combine things. In Titan, there's a mechanic called the jail. I'm just going to call it the jail, everyone. It's where one person gets into a rock and everyone has to DPS that rock down. You could throw that in, like one player starts seeing rocks start to like attach to their legs and crawl up their body, and then the next turn they're locked in. The players could then try to rip them out of it, or attack the like vines if you want to go with that angle or something like that, or crystal that develops on the player. Or if you want to be extra evil, you combine the knockback effect with the jail, and the players have to use the player that's stuck in the jail to brace themselves against the wind so they don't fall off the arena or something, or they don't fall into a spike trap or something. Then they have to free their friend from it. That's just an interesting way that you can just combine and blend some of this mechanics. You have like single target AoEs where like electricity builds up on the floor around one of the players, and if anyone's near them, they get shocked or something. I don't have the recipes on things. I'm just spitballing some ideas, Titan. We have stuff like the fire chains. You might remember those from the Vault. Not gonna say who the Vault boss is, but there's a mechanic where two players will get latched on by a chain that's on fire, and they have to separate a certain amount. Now, you have that. Once again, you can combine that with the ice effect. The players have to spread out in separate directions to break the chain. Or the knockback effect from the wind, where the players have to knock back in separate directions. Or if anyone's ever done Dancing Plague, Extreme that is, the mechanic where the vines will show up and you have to get knocked back from DPS, and healers get knocked back north, and all the DPS get knocked back south, and then they break the chains with the knockback? Perfect. That's how you could break that chain between players. Battle concept. Two thaumaturges ambush the party in a cavern filled with water, and they're constantly blasting the area with lightning and ice. Love it. Absolutely great. They have to like free certain parts of the ice, that way it's not as conductive for the lightning or something. Love it. Okay. I'm running out of time, but let's move on to my last and final slide. My ending credit slide. I'm actually hosting a D&D mini-series kind of showing off some of the mechanics and stuff that I talked about and stuff over on Liffy's YouTube channel. That is twitch.tv/Liffy. That cat is green, so that's how you know you're in the right spot. You can also follow me at GoatHeadbutt on Twitter. I'll be posting this my magic item sheet on there soon as I fix that slightly wrong error. And then we'll have, you'll be able to basically steal everything that I had reskinned for this stuff. I have to say thank you to the people that allowed me to use these slides, because these are not my original graphics, so thank you, Flat Icon. And I can't, okay, I'll just go back to this slide. Alright, so does anyone have any questions or comments, concerns that they would like to address? Yeah, this has been super fun. Titan Time went way faster than I thought it would, but hey, super good. Got a little too passionate with the battle mechanics. Will I be posting the slides? Hey, I can post those on my Twitter as well, so I'll do that just for you. Don't worry. How long I've been into tabletop? About 5 years, in fact. I started with it when I went to basic training. I was in tech school, and that's when I started proper. How do you translate the races of Final Fantasy XIV into DnD? Hey, if you actually look up DnD and Final Fantasy XIV, like Google it, there is a absolutely amazing resource someone had made that translates Final Fantasy XIV jobs and races into D&D. Will there be cat girls in my miniseries? Absolutely. Absolutely there's going to be cat girls. Is it possible to translate complex mechanics like P4S or the Ultimate? Hey, I guess you'll just have to watch my miniseries to find out if that's possible. Spoilers, absolutely. Some of the mechanics that I have built into the fights that I have pre-planned for them, it's going to be spicy. I hope these raiders are ready for that. Is there a link for all this? Yep, I'll be posting that on my Twitter as soon as I finish ending the stream. Let's see. Is materia single use or on a recharge? It is single use. It is single use because it is a rare item that changes battle like crazy strong. If you're a DM and be like, hey, I want my materia to recharge, you can. But they're supposed to be like small bursts of energy, not continuous bursts of energy. Because like the crit one could be ridiculous if you could just constantly keep using that one. Let's see, it's on the gym meter there. Spoilers. How do you think the Echo would manifest in D&D? If you're talking about the Echo in the sense of being able to retry a fight, you would first start with a player, or start with a fight, and tell everyone that, hey, your brain would be like, you feel flashes of the past and the future ahead of you. And if you TPK the party, they wake up and they're back at the beginning of the fight. So they basically saw themselves fail the fight and they've learned from that fight and they're moving forward to do the fight again with all of the previous knowledge of the fight beforehand. Could LB be a mechanic linked to an item or just a flavor thing? I would say that LB would be an interesting thing that you could build during a fight. I would say it would be just a regular mechanic that the DM secretly has going in the background. I would like it to then be that a player, once that LB hits like LB1 or whatever the charge is that the DM decides secretly in the background, that player, when they hit, does a fat gamer move, an absolutely crazy LB attack then, where they're just thinking that they hit a regular attack, but the power in them infused for some reason, and they absolutely go crazy blasting the enemy with whatever weapon that they were using. Beat me asking to it? LOL. Gamers. Gaming. I've been in a similar game that uses the Dark Souls mech. Hey, I have been looking at that Dark Souls mech for a while, or the Dark Souls tabletop. It's like, I just don't have enough people to play with it. This came to me when you mentioned the jail and knockback combo. I figured in-game explanation is the Echo tells us what's happening, or our losses are Doctor Strange style timelines, but I'd definitely like being able to let them start over if the mechanic TPKs them. If they're, yeah. Now, it is a very, like, some players aren't going to like having to refight something or something like that, but hey, you could restart it. I personally think of Echo being an information check on the boss's enemy that allows successful, uncovered enemy mechanics or abilities. You could do it like that. If the players want to do it like a investigation check or something like that, you could, if they get a successful one, actually add the arrows and stuff on the battle map to make it very clear that that mechanic is a 14 inspired mechanic. How would Final Fantasy XIV jobs translate to D&D classes? Very easily. There's actually a lovely resource on the GM's binder that I didn't steal anything from, that you should Google and find out from. They do a fabulous job of translating a ton of D&D or 5e classes into D&D, and all of their jobs, or all of their races into it. They're constantly upgrading it and updating it to include, they just recently added the Sage and the Reaper, so they also constantly doing balance changes and stuff on it, and stuff like that. Oh, yeah, okay, cool. So you can post links. Alright. Sorry about that. I didn't know I could post links in here. So yeah, you can just absolutely use that stuff as well. Combination of both the D&D 5e Final Fantasy XIV supplement from the GM binder and some of these interesting mechanics. You could have a full-on, just absolutely crazy 14-inspired stuff. Got it from Joe Cat stream. Is Joe Cat watching the stream? That's wild if he is. Hi Joe Cat, if so. Or, hey, I'm yelling at Joe Cat for no reason if he's not. Either way, cool. Yeah, I thought it was going to be a bot as well, so that's why I was there. He's watching and reacting but went to bed. Hey, absolutely lovely. I'm going to watch the VOD and then probably be embarrassed immediately afterwards. Love my materia idea. Thank you. Absolutely amazing. Perfect. Finally, a class that uses a scythe. Hey, I use a scythe in my regular D&D game, but it's using the stat block of a greatsword, so shh, no one tell anyone. I can actually use explorable Alamigo. Hey, if you want to make it a full D&D stuff and 14 crossover, be my guest. Like, go into G pose and like zoom all the way out at the end of like a dungeon or something, and just take a screenshot of the arena. Congratulations, you have a battle map. Any D&D class could be a scythe if you're not a coward. Yeah, absolutely. Can't wait to see your adventures with it's going to be so much fun. Oh my gosh, that's genius. Hey, that's how I had a fight, it literally was, they were fighting against the Ultima weapon. I went and did an overhead of the Ultima weapon arena and just copy-paste it into Roll20. So, super easy that way. I didn't think of that greatsword reskin for a scythe. I'm mad at myself. Hey, congratulations. You can now do it now, so that's good. They're both really big, and you have to use them for 2 hands, so like, it's like the best stat block equivalent, I would say. Alright, I am nearing the end of my time. I have room for like 1, maybe 2 more questions. Otherwise, we're good. Thank you again for presenting. Hey, thank you for showing up. Otherwise, I'd be talking to my microphone, looking at slides that didn't work, and that wouldn't be fun. Do you know who was for Stranger Things? I don't know who that is. Sorry about that. Extra panel, thank you. Have you been hydrating this LinterCon? I drink water constantly, and because of how much stuff that I've been bouncing around from LinterCon, I have absolutely been hydrating. It's a famous D&D bad guy. I'll tell you a secret, I've never done a supplement. I've only done homebrew. So, I don't actually know. If no one else has a question outside of Eorzea, does anyone have any ideal-like scenarios that this could work in? Not sure. Maybe if you have like a Legend of Zelda style campaign, maybe? I don't know. Lots of cool ideas. Might have used the relic weapon idea. Absolutely. Please tell me all about it. I want to hear all about your D&D campaigns. Let me know on like Twitter, because I will scream at it. Fill my DM ideas notebook as well as my brain rot. Not gonna lie. Thank you so much for this. Absolutely. Hell yeah. You did amazing in this and the Esprit performance. Hey, thank you. And thank you for watching the Esprit performance. Oh, yeah, I'm also the leader of Esprit, so that's cool. The relic weapon is such a good idea, too. Hell yeah. And you already have a database of relic weapons that you can inspire your weapons from. You're an Esper too? You're Oscar and Esper? Perfect. Hey, thank you. Alright, so I have to go now before I'm over time. Yes, I am the leader of Esperit as well. What is the major component of the relic weapon that is strengthened by the ionized crystal? Think of a large amount of condensed aether. That could be from a large entity, a big battle, or a large, deep dungeon that's never been touched for a while. Alright, gotta go. I love you all. Stay hydrated. But also, enjoy the rest of LunarCon. Okay, I gotta go now. So long. Farewell. How do I stop stream? Oh god. Okay, there we go. Bye!